inside of them, or something that they identify with, whether it be their spirituality, their faith, their family. You know, I'm doing it for mom, I'm doing it for my little brother, little cousin, or just your drive to achieve, you know, to make impact in this world before you leave this earth. I'm trying to help them to discover exactly what that is for them. And sometimes you have to go through failure like you experienced to kind of uncover that a little bit. I want to kind of get to some lighter stuff. Of course, everybody has like a great college story, or a funny college story. If you wouldn't mind sharing, I want to know either like your craziest college story or moment, or like your most embarrassing moment, if you want to share that.
Yeah. Okay. Probably one of the craziest was probably we took a trip to New Orleans, and as you know,
cool.
you're from New Orleans,
Yeah.
so you know. It was for a birthday trip, but it was maybe we were there for about 2 or 3 days, and so it was times where we would be out until I say 3 in the morning, and it was kind of just like finding things to do. We went into different clubs and kind of made them know what Cleveland was. So we would go in, we would line dance in different clubs, like the Cleveland Shuffle, like different things. So they kind of like knew who we were, and was like yell different things to kind of like just get to know who we were. There are a couple of adults in here, so I'm gonna keep it kind of PG. But we went to different of the shops that are and was just like, okay, give us a demonstration of what this product is or what this does. And we were just kind of like, hey, we're in New Orleans, nobody knows us, let's just do it. But that was probably, it was wild, but it was one of the most best times of my life at that point. It was like, okay, I'm actually able to kind of be free and like do what I want to do without really caring. And so we just went and just enjoyed. It was a crazy experience. It was definitely a crazy experience because it's so much to do in New Orleans. It's so much to do.
Yeah,
so, to be able to go to different spots and kind of just experience the culture and be your inner self. That was probably because we all have a wild side, so we always kind of like let go, actually find that wild side and let that part go. We were out there. Embarrassing. I don't know if I have any embarrassing. Well, I probably do. There will be times, as we all know, going out. They say Thirsty Thursdays.
Yeah.
My freshman year of college, my mom probably doesn't know this. My freshman year of college, I would go on a Thirsty Thursday. I would go out somewhere, whether it was to a hookah bar or something, and I would not get back until 5 o'clock in the morning. I would fall asleep. This is nasty. I would fall asleep in the bed with the clothes that I had on while I went out. And I would wake up at 7:30 lab and run across campus and go and take a quiz every Friday. We'll ace the quiz every time. We'll run across and take those quizzes and come back home, take another nap, wash up and go back to class at that point. So I said, let me just try it. Get the full experience. I got the full experience. Wild and embarrassing, but I said, it's all right. I'll be all right. It was fine.
What made you get up and actually go and take that quiz? Because I know a lot of students would have just said, you know what, it's just a quiz. It's not worth that much. I'll catch the next one.
That was my anatomy lab. So I said, I want to be a nurse. I have to go and take this. I got to pass this class. And if I don't pass this lab portion, I'm not passing the classroom portion. So I said, okay, you ain't washed up, but you better go take that quiz. Because my mother found out I didn't pass that class, and she got to pay some extra money out of pocket to help me to take that class again.
Yeah.
So get up and go on and take that quiz and suffer the consequences. So nobody knows but me that I didn't wash up, but everybody is all right. I handle that later. I get that done later. But it definitely get handled.
That is funny. Yeah, man. New Orleans is definitely a place where if you're trying to find that wild side, you're going to find it here in New Orleans.
Yeah, quickly.
You're definitely going to find it here. Was that your first time to New Orleans, or had you been before?
First time.
First time?
First time.
That's good. I'm glad you enjoy. I'm glad the city, you enjoyed yourself in the city.
Absolutely.
Today we had our senior signing day. Which most people are familiar with the athletic signing day, where athletes will say where they're going. So, but more schools are moving toward an academic signing day where kids let you know where they're going to college. Yeah. And so I want to hear your advice for students that are considering a HBCU versus a PWI. I kind of want you to, what would be your advice to those students? Because I think I went to a PWI and I understand the experience and how much fun I had, but I think sometimes there can be like some misconceptions about PWIs, especially for Black students, or misconceptions about HBCU. So what would be your advice, or what would you tell them to look for in terms of making that decision?
Yeah, I would say do your research for one. For me, finance is always, that's the number one thing that I always look at. I'm gonna look at, okay, can I afford it first? Because if I can't afford it, I'm not gonna waste my time looking to see everything else. So I would say definitely do your research and see if the school I want to go to, if it's an HBCU, can I afford it? And if so, then go from there. I'll say see which school has your major and who is higher ranked for your major. You can go to HBCU and then a nursing program is about to get canceled or cut, or you want to go to be an engineer and they don't have the engineering program, but you want to just go just because of HBCU. It's about the education first. So make sure you can afford it. You have the best program, but visit. So we see what we see online and what we hear people talk about. You look at Instagram, HBCU looks like the best place to go on earth, but it's that happens here and there. It doesn't happen every day. So definitely go and visit each one, see what you like more, what you can identify with more. And then I would say for PWI, even though I would say all the black students, we all knew each other. So that's the good thing about going to PWI. You have a close connection with the people who are just like you. So even though you have a lot of people at HBCUs, I'm pretty sure sometimes you can't connect with everybody. And everybody's like, okay, we all look alike. We all do the same things. It's like, what's so different? Even though you want that experience, it's a little bit different when you're at a closer knit college where the majority of the people don't look like you, but the people that do look like you, you're all really connected. You are able to build a stronger foundation. A lot of people who I met that were black in college, we're still friends to this day. So I appreciate the experience that I got from going to a PWI, just because it also helped me understand that the world is not just all black. So you have to be able to flourish in both environments. And so I feel like sometimes going to HBCU, you can't always, I guess, excel as much because you think the world is really like that. You went to corporate America, it's not predominantly black unless you're working for a black company. So you have to be able to flourish in those different areas. So if you've gone to, let's say, a predominantly white school, being a black kid, HBCU is something that you might want to consider. Being a black kid who's always around black people, I want that experience, but I don't necessarily have to have it. So being at a PWI wasn't an issue for me. So I would definitely say, see what you identify with, what you can afford, who has a better major, and just what you're exactly trying to get out of college. Depends on where you should go. So
yeah. Even though I'm from New Orleans, I went to a predominantly white high school in Massachusetts because my dad got a job in construction, moved the whole family out there. It was just easier. And so by the time I got to UNO, I was already acclimated to being one of the only black students in a classroom. I was numb to it, I guess you could say. Yeah. For you, and because I know a lot of my students, not just at PWIs, but college in general, struggle with being social. Like the simple skill of being able to approach and talk to somebody who you don't know, regardless of race, is something that they all struggle with. But particularly at a PWI, when there's not many people who look like you, that can be an even greater challenge. So can you talk a little bit about, have you ever felt that way at Kent State? Like it was just you or isolated or alienated? And then what did you do to make sure that you had a great experience at Kent State?
I think it definitely, at first, I thought was going to be a challenge for me because I said, okay, going to be a nursing major, that's a predominantly, held up by women and people, and white women at that. So when I'm going to my classes, I was like, okay, I'm the only male in here, and I'm the only black male in here. So I said, okay, I always felt like I kind of had to dim my light because I didn't want to seem as if, because it's easy to kind of find for them to put a label on you when they don't really understand how to operate with you. So originally I kind of came in kind of trying to dim my light, but then I had to realize no matter what the people think about me, I have to be who I am. So at that point, it was kind of okay. My teachers will also point me out because they know I was the only black kid. Like I remember when I was doing human growth and development, I was taking a test and the teacher said, she called out my name. I said, I'm not sure if you knew that because the first and last name, because it may sound black, or is it because you wanted to know who I was because I am the only black person or the only black male in your class? So it wasn't bad. It worked to my advantage, I would say, because I would kind of make conversations and kind of talk to people just so you know, okay, I'm smart just like you too. I don't want you to think that because I look different that I'm not smart. So I always felt like I had to prove myself. So make it a point to kind of make myself notice or kind of talk more or be more social or connect with them so they can understand that, I'm smart too. And there's things that I can learn from you and you can learn from me too. So I always wanted to make myself known consistently so I didn't fall behind and just look as if I was just that kid who's just taking these classes just because he wants to do it. But I can do this. So that's why I will make it a point to, be noticed.
Gotcha. My last question for you is, just thinking about the next phase in your life, what is the career goal that you have for yourself, short term or long